What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated, unified WBC, IBF, welterweight, world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, in Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr., 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 21 big wins by way of knockout. He is 31 years of age, stands at 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. He weighs in and doubles down on legendary 8 division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny "Pac-Man" Pacquiao. 62 wins, now 8 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He himself was knocked out twice in his career. Manny Pacquiao is 42 years of age, stands at 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach, losing to Cuban star boxer YORDENIS, who now is officially the WBA welterweight world champion in YORDENIS. So with that said, Errol Spence, he weighs in and doubles down on Manny Pacquiao losing his fight. His trainer, well-renowned trainer, future Hall of Famer, 2-time trainer of the year, arguably one of the best trainers, if not the best trainer in the sport of boxing, in Derrick James. Derrick James, he puts up a post and he says, it was just all good a week ago. And he was just referring to the fact that Manny Pacquiao was supposed to face off against Errol Spence. And 2 weeks ago, everything was being promoted as Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao. And since Errol Spence had suffered, a torn retina, an eye injury, and had to be pulled from the fight, and YORDENIS, who was going to be the co-main event and face off against Fabian Maidana, younger brother of former world champion Marcos El Chino Maidana. Now, YORDENIS filled in for Errol Spence. And so that being Derrick James, he took a picture of a photo on the MGM that had a picture of Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao. And Errol Spence, he responded to this post after Derrick James says it was all good just a week ago. He takes the opportunity, that being Errol Spence, and he says, no, it wouldn't have been all good for Manny Pacquiao, especially this version of Manny Pacquiao. It would have been all bad for Manny Pacquiao. Wow. End quote. So Errol Spence, obviously, a lot of people were starting to say that Errol Spence was, avoiding Manny Pacquiao, that he pulled out not because of the eye injury. He pulled out because he simply didn't feel like he was well prepared for Manny Pacquiao. He wasn't ready for Manny Pacquiao. So that's the reason why he pulled out the fight, because he felt like he wasn't prepared. And a lot of people, they said, well, look, Errol Spence, he struggled in sparring. A sparring clip footage of All Access when Errol Spence sparring Manny Pacquiao, clone somebody to replicate what Manny Pacquiao does in the ring, to imitate what Manny Pacquiao does in the ring. And this guy the clip shows, a 10 to 30 second clip shows the guy having some success in the round. Now, Errol Spence was clearly having success, but the guy was having success, and that's what was highlighted. And so since the guy had the success he had, everybody pointed to that, and they said, whoa, Errol Spence is struggling in sparring. And they highlighted and stated, well, this must be the real reason why Errol Spence is, pulling out of the fight. You even had Errol Spence's somewhat rival in former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith "One-Time" Thurman stating that Errol Spence was struggling in that sparring clip. We all saw it. So with that said, it went viral. Then you had legendary former multi-division, former legendary middleweight world champion, Hall of Famer Bernard the Execution Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins, he weighed in and he says that it was questionable that Errol Spence pulled out the fight, so he added more fuel to it. And then he stated that the real truth will come out somewhere in the future, alluding to that he knew something. He was privy to some information that the boxing world wasn't privy to. And he stated, you don't always go with the first report that's told to you. You got to wait and let it all unfold, and the truth will come out. And then Bernard Hopkins, he stated that if it was me, I would show the proof. I would show the world the proof that I was truly injured. But that's just me. That's what Bernard Hopkins had to say. So a lot of people was alluding that Errol Spence was faking it. And so eventually we see that Errol Spence was not faking it, because the WBC, World Boxing Council, and President Mauricio Suleiman, then the IBF, they came out and they stated that Errol Spence provided them the proof, the medical records, that he indeed was seriously injured, and that it wasn't even Errol Spence. He didn't bring it to anybody's attention. It was a routine pre-fight checkup, and the doctors found this, and they advised Errol Spence that he could not fight, and told the Nevada State Athletic Boxing Commission that he could not fight. Errol Spence even seeked out 2 other opinions from the initial doctor that all told him he needed immediate emergency surgery. So he had to pull out the fight, and in less than 24 hours, Errol Spence shows the world that he indeed had surgery. So with that said, you can clearly see, that Errol Spence wanted this fight. This was an opportunity of a lifetime. Errol Spence, he initially tweeted out after the fight, a frowning face emoji, and it said, "If only," right? Indicating that if I had the opportunity to get in there, things would have been a lot different. I possibly would have stopped Manny Pacquiao. Not possibly. He feels like he would have stopped Manny Pacquiao, okay? And Manny Pacquiao, took a lot of big, clean punches from Yordenis Ugas. Yordenis Ugas is not a big puncher at all whatsoever. Never has been. He has 30-plus fights and only 12 knockouts. So he's not a knockout artist. He's not a power puncher. What he is a very skilled, he's a very skilled Cuban disciplined athlete, right? Boxer. He comes from the Cuban style of amateur background. They're all very, very skilled. And, that is what saw Yordenis Ugas win the fight, okay? He's not a big puncher, at all whatsoever. And, he was able to hit Manny Pacquiao with some big, clean punches. And Yordenis Ugas, his jab was there all night. Now, obviously, Yordenis Ugas is an orthodox fighter, and Errol Spence is a southpaw. But Yordenis Ugas, 27 wins, 4 losses, no draws. Out of 31 fights, he only has 12 knockouts, okay? He's 35 years of age, stands at 5'9" with a 69-inch arm reach, so he has 3 inches arm reach short. Errol Spence has 3-inch arm reach advantage over Yordenis Ugas, and he has a half-inch height advantage over Ugas. So Ugas is not a big puncher at all whatsoever. He has losses in his career, but his jab was there in Manny Pacquiao's face all night long, okay? And his right hand, a sweeping right hand, a straight right hand down the pipe all night long. Manny Pacquiao had 0 answers for what Yordenis Ugas was presenting to him, okay? And so with that said, you look at it and you take that into consideration and you say to yourself, well, imagine if that was the likes of a Terrence Crawford, undefeated 3-division world champion, former undisputed junior welterweight world champion, currently the WBO welterweight world champion. Imagine Terrence Crawford, 37 wins, no losses, no draws, 27 big wins by way of knockout. So he has more than half the knockouts of Yordenis Ugas, and he has only 5 more fights than Yordenis Ugas. And he's younger than Yordenis Ugas, and he's 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. So he has 5-inch arm reach advantage over Yordenis Ugas. And and he's more versatile. He could switch from southpaw to orthodox. He has power in both hands. He could touch Manny Pacquiao for a range that's going to force Manny Pacquiao to be out of range. So Yordenis Ugas has he only has 2-inch arm reach advantage over Manny Pacquiao, yet he was able to keep Manny Pacquiao at bay, control the pace of the fight, and use his jab. Imagine somebody with Crawford, his power, or Errol Spence with his power and his jab. Errol Spence is seen to arguably have the best jab in the sport of boxing. Imagine Errol Spence is using his jab and keeping him at bay, okay? What the outcome could have been. Because Errol Spence has 21 knockouts in less fights than Yordenis Ugas. So he has nearly double the knockouts Yordenis Ugas has, and he has 5 less fights. Yordenis Ugas has 31 fights. Errol Spence has 27. So four fights less than Yordenis Ugas, and Errol Spence is 31, and Ugas is 35. Okay, so he's a bigger, stronger, younger, more talented fighter. So imagine if you put him in the ring So Errol Spence is saying that that version of Manny Pacquiao would have definitely been in trouble dealing with himself, okay? And we seen that, Manny Pacquiao, his legs seem to be gone. He was fatigued in the fourth round. He could get inside to Yordenis Ugas, but he couldn't get back outside. And Manny Pacquiao has never been known to be a defensive fighter. So Manny Pacquiao, I believe, like Errol Spence, if that was Errol Spence in the ring, he would have gotten stopped. Yordenis Ugas all night from the opening bell. The jab, he couldn't miss with the jab. He couldn't miss with the straight right hand. He couldn't miss with the looping, sweeping right hook. All night long, it was there for him all night. The only time he didn't land it is when he chose not to throw it. When he chose to throw it, Manny Pacquiao was there to be hit. And again, he would work his way to the inside, but he was stuck there. Every time he tried to get back to the outside, Yordenis Ugas would counter him and hit him with a big clean punch. So he just could not make his way back to the outside. So I have to agree with Errol Spence Jr. So Errol Spence Jr. is seen to have, this is going to be a 4-month recovery period. So we got to see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hi, my name is Heather Vahid Hardy, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.